My producer has informed me that Kickstarter believes that we should create regular video updates to keep you, the community, abreast regarding our production, The Last Hanging of Susanna Cox. The theory behind this is that it will generate excitement and social media engagement. There are two problems with this theory. First, I am not invested in, nor am I personally responsible for, your moment-to-moment levels of excitement. Second, even if you were excited about this project, we don't have any social media accounts associated with it for you to like and share. Regardless, I am going to tell you a story about the production of The Last Hanging of Susanna Cox. As with any story surrounding Susanna Cox, this one comes with all the trigger warnings up front. If the dark and macabre are not your wheelhouse, please see yourself to the exit right now. If that's what you're into, welcome home. Submitted for the approval of the Midnight Society, I call this story Joe's Laughing at Us. Now, to understand this story, you have to know a little bit about the mannequin that we used during the hanging. It's a fairly old mannequin, and during COVID there was no festival, so it was locked away in storage. When they pulled it out of storage, they found that the dummy had been eaten by critters and rodents and was no longer usable, and this meant that they had to commission a new dummy to hang at the hanging. They reached out to my uncle, Michael Broly, and if you know Michael, he doesn't do anything by halves. So when he got this commission, he went all in and built an articulated, life-size replica of Susanna Cox. And if you want to see a full breakdown of how he built it, you gotta see the movie, The Last Hanging of Susanna Cox. We shot an interview with him, and we did a full autopsy with the dummy. But that's not the point of the story. The point of the story is that this dummy was very lifelike, very realistic, and fully articulated. And after the production was over, it was in the back of my car as I was driving around. And that's where the story, Joe's Laughing at Us, begins. So I was driving around Kutztown, grabbing some pickup B-roll shots here and there across town, and I went up to the Weiss's, where the lanes used to be. And I parked in front of the thrift store. Now when I got out of my car, there was another car next to mine, and in it was a mother, a grandmother, and in the back seat, two children in car seats. They were on the cell phone and they sounded distressed, but I didn't pay them any mind. I'm no eavesdropping rubbernecker. I just went into the thrift store, looked around, and when I came back out, the mother and the grandmother were outside of the car looking even more distressed. They asked if I could give them a jump, and I said, of course, yes. I'm a gentleman after all. So they got out the jumper cables and they connected the two ends to their battery, and as the mother was heading over to my car to attach our battery to theirs, the tips of the jumper cables touched and there was a shower of sparks. I told her that this meant the battery was fine, that it would go beyond a jump, that could be the starter, fuel injection, who knows, but that she might as well go ahead and call AAA before they wait any longer on a dead battery. She said that was a good idea and they got to work on calling AAA, but it's the countryside and AAA could be 30, 45 minutes, maybe an hour, depending on where their nearest agent is. So I said, if you'd like, I'd only be happy to take the two children and one of the two adults to your destination while the other grown-up stays here with the car for when the guy from AAA finally lands. Or girl, it could be either. Or anywhere in between on the gender spectrum. They said that this would be a wonderful gesture. They took me up on the offer, and then I remembered there's a corpse in the back seat of the car. Now, I keep this corpse covered in a shroud so that passerbys and looky-loos don't get caught up in why there's a dead body with its arms bound together in the back seat of the car. So I tell her, happy to give you a ride, happy to load the kids in the back seat, but right now there's a corpse in the back seat. Don't worry, it's never been alive, it's a replica corpse. And the mother and the grandmother start laughing, and they say, oh my God, Joe's laughing at us. So I start to unpack the dummy, and as I do, they start telling me what's going on. They say they're only in town for the weekend, that they've been called to a funeral, and it's Joe's funeral, and it's just so funny that, they're getting a ride from somebody with a corpse in the back as they head to this funeral, and they're having a good laugh about that. And I'm enjoying this story too. So I continue to pull Susanna out of the car, and the shroud falls, revealing that her arms are bound together, and that she is designed for a hanging. And then the mother and the grandmother absolutely lose it. They go bananas with laughter. And they start saying, Joe's just laughing at us now. So I continue to hoist Susanna over my shoulder and lug her to the front seat. And then the grandmother comes over and she says, "This is just too funny. It's too funny. See, here's what Joe did." And the story's about to go from 0 to 100 miles an hour. Here's what Joe did. He tied a rope around his neck, and then he tied the other end to his RV. And then he devised a way to make the RV kill him, but he didn't stop there. So what Joe did was, she goes, what Joe did was he actually bound his arms together just like that dummy. Just like that dummy. He had them bound up like this so that if he changed his mind halfway through, he wouldn't be able to stop himself from killing himself. And they are in tears laughing at this point. So we get the dummy in the front seat. Put the shroud back on her so it doesn't look like I'm an insane person. And then we start talking about getting the kids in. On good faith, the mother goes up to the front seat of her car. She sits down. She puts the key in, turns it, and the engine fires up without any trouble at all. They all load back into the car. And as they pull out, they are howling with laughter, echoing the refrain, "Joe's laughing at us." And that's the story from the production of The Hanging of Susanna Cox. Thank you so much for listening to my story. I love telling that one. Talk to you later. Bye.